Hey, welcome to the next episode of Newbreed Film Reviews. We are on episode 11, and this episode, we are going to talk about the movies that you should see before you die. Just movies that have had an impact, that will have an impact on you, that stood out in the industry, like either groundbreaking or just like emotional movies, or just movies you have to see before you kick the bucket. And on the podcast, of course, I have Brian on here accompanying me, and you want to kick
What's
it off?
going on, guys? How you doing? We got just me and Dave on this one. No Gail, no Paul. So me and Dave we'll take you in on our opinion of the greatest movies you have to see before you die.
We're lonely chaps right now.
But me and Dave, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you on this.
We will.
We'll cover it. We actually kind of beefed up our list a little bit because it's just me and him sitting here talking about it.
We got this.
So I was actually, to be honest with you, I was talking to Frank today. And Frank brought up this movie and completely slipped my mind, but it is one of the top movies that you have to see before you die. And I bet you're going to have like an awakening moment right now. Braveheart.
Yes. Braveheart.
Did you have that on your list? Because that one just reminded.
Yeah, dude, that wasn't on my list, but I got to say that's a hell of a pick. And Braveheart it's just a piece of cinematic history.
They can't take our freedom.
Yeah, dude. Talk about inspirational and, talk about I like to call these like a raw movie. That's like a testosterone, like 300 type movie.
That is, Mel Gibson plays the epitome like of a man's man in that movie.
He does.
Yep.
Even when he got eviscerated.
Exactly. He took it like a champ.
He did. I would have been crying like a little girl.
You know, he directed that movie too.
He did?
Yeah. It's actually directed and starred by him.
Dude, that movie was one of the most brutal movies you can watch.
Oh, yeah.
That movie didn't pull any punches.
No, not at all.
Dudes were getting their heads smashed in with maces.
Yeah, and it was all like hand-to-hand combat and stuff, you know?
Yeah. That movie, and Mel Gibson actually kind of piggybacked off that thunder when he did The Patriot. It was like Braveheart with muskets. That's what I call it.
Yeah, I mean, and it had that same feel for it, but it had that same feel within, Civil War.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my definitely have to see before you die. It will give you the testosterone action-packedness, but also will pull at your heartstrings because you're emotionally there with them the whole time, you know?
It'll give you more of a testosterone jolt than a shot in the butt with a syringe. That was a bad joke. Alright, dude. My go?
Yep.
Okay. I got a movie that people should see before they die, and it's called The Shawshank Redemption.
That is on my list too, my friend.
I don't even know where to start with this movie. It is such an amazing movie on, I don't even know how to say this. Like triumph, like going through adversity and coming out. Oh God, I'm kind of ruining the movie, but it's just an amazing movie. The main character, Tim Robbins, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He goes through so much in that movie, and there's like no quitting him. And it's such a smart, a well-written movie, great story. It had like touching moments. That's a movie that you have to see before you die.
Plus it's narrated by Morgan Freeman, so you can't go wrong with anything that's narrated by Morgan Freeman.
No, you can't.
No. But overall, yeah, this is one of those like feel good movies, like you said, kind of overcome adversity, kind of, life dealt you these kind of cards and he beat them, not to ruin the movie, but, he got the cards he played with and he took them to his advantage, so.
It's a movie, it's like outfoxing, it's a movie that has to deal with like, being like a fox. You know what I mean? Like being, I can't even really talk about it because I'm going to ruin the movie. It's just a great movie, Shawshank Redemption.
But it was in 94, so on our spoiler-ometer, We said anything at least before 10 years. Past 10 years, you should have seen it. But again, we won't try to spoil it.
It's just hard to talk about it because it's like one of those plots that like,
once you let it out.
Yeah, once you let it out, like little details, it just kind of ruins the movie. But right. That was,
so yeah, that's definitely on my list too.
What's another one, Brian?
So another one I got on mine is, you can call me, a little sensitive on this one. But I think Titanic has to be one of the top movies you have to see before you die.
Your heart goes on. Your heart
Celine
goes
Dion.
on.
Yeah, Celine Dion soundtrack running in my mind. But to be honest, like just overall storyline in general, overall start to finish, historical standpoint of being able to show you what really happened. It carries you through. It gives you all these different dimensions. Mm-hmm. It gives you realism as far as what really happened and how it happened. Mm-hmm. It was, at James Cameron at the time, I think he broke a lot of, underwater filming technology in the process of making it as well. And it was also one of the top box office hits ever. Yeah. So
that's when he got all crazy with it too. Like he invented that underwater technology and then he just got kind of loony with it and just started doing documentaries on like underwater. He got really submersed like in
anything you could do that was underwater stuff.
Yeah.
But I got some other ones on my list to help myself, pick myself back up from that one. But to be honest, you can't, Titanic is one of those have to see movies. You have to see it at least once.
Yeah, before I touch on Titanic, it's submersed a word?
Yes.
I know submerged is a word. Anyway, I'm just gonna say it's a word. Alright, Titanic, I'm not a big fan now. Like, that's because the movie's been out for 100 years. Like, I'm just not a fan now because I'm tired of it, but at the time when that came out, there was no bigger movie than that.
That's true.
That was the movie. Like, so many awards, the special effects for it, the story, tugging on your heartstrings with Jack and Rose, right?
Yes.
And, man, can I say something that's just gonna spoil it? Can I say?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Spoilers. I've always thought about this. Side note. Why didn't he make a raft of bodies?
I don't know. Or why didn't he grab a different door?
Why he didn't grab a different door? Doesn't make any sense. But
everybody makes the memes. You've seen the memes where there's room on the door. I don't agree. There wasn't room on the door because it would have been submerged when he got on it.
Right.
But he could have found a different door.
They could have took turns.
Yeah.
You be in the water for an hour and I'll stay on the wood, and then you could be in the water for an hour and I'll still stay on the wood. That's how I would have did it.
That's true.
But yeah, dude, Titanic, I mean that's it's not on my list. Like, I didn't pick it because it's been out for so long, I'm just tired of it again. But that movie definitely has its place in cinematic history. It stands out, and it should be in one of those vaults. Like End of the World, it should be protected, as far as like American cinematic history,
Yeah, from the historical standpoint,
yes.
Plus from a movie standpoint too.
Yeah, and Hobo with a Shotgun should be next to it.
No?
Okay.
That brings to my attention, we need to do an episode of worst movies we've ever seen.
Come on,
and that's going to be one of my top of my list.
Come on, man. That was a great one. All right, is it my go?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really think you're going to disagree with this one. Schindler's List.
Yes. I think that's rated all-time best movie of all time. Like if you look up the ratings, of top movies, I'm pretty sure that's the top one.
Schindler's List, man. That's one of my just one of my favorite movies of all time. Liam Neeson, like, what a performance. Like, what a performance. I don't think he gets enough credit as an actor. He's one of the greatest actors of all time to me. If Paul was on here, he would be hating right now. He hates Liam Neeson.
Yeah, he doesn't like him.
But, his performance in that, it's like Tom Hardy and Bronson. It's like sometimes there's a role that is just magic and you just own the role.
It's
And,
a role that was meant for him.
Yeah.
You know?
That movie.
He embraced it. Yeah.
He did, Oscar Schindler. And it's based on a true story. You know, this is like a real guy who owned a factory and he saved so many Jewish people. What a human being. Like, how many people can say that they saved, literally, he saved hundreds of thousands of people because the generations after, you know, like, what a human being. And during that time, like, you know, all that killing and if I'm not mistaken, like, he was German. And,
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He was German or Polish, I'm not sure, but he was on the in with the Nazi party. And he just like went behind their back and did what was right. He did the best he could. And that movie gets me, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I can watch that movie 100 times and 100 times it'll make my eyes watery. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yep. It definitely pulls at the heartstrings.
Crazy. And,
I agree with you.
And just to touch on one thing of that movie, oh God, what's his name? Ralph Fiennes? He was in Clash of the Titans. He played the main, bad guy in, Schindler's List, Golth or something. I think his last name is Fiennes. He did a great job too. Yeah.
Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, Ralph Fiennes or Fiennes. What a performance by him, you know? But Schindler's List.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. That's on my list too. So another one that I'm gonna go to, and I tried to keep it down to only one Spielberg movie because, you know, there's a couple I'd pick from. But out of all the Spielbergs that I could pick, you know, my all-time favorite movie, I've said it 10,000 times, is Jaws.
Yep.
But I don't, if I were to pick one Spielberg movie that you have to see before you die, it definitely would have to be Jurassic Park.
That's on my list, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I love Jaws, but it didn't make an emotional and a monumental impact on movie cinema and on the people that watched it like Jurassic Park did. There's people that can tell you where they were, when they saw it, and you can tell just how the market has just still going from Jurassic Park, you know? Plus like we talked about with James Cameron, I mean, Spielberg, bent the envelope with making, CGI graphics with actual real, animatronics and stuff like that. Completely.
He changed the game.
He gave you a great storyline about dinosaurs, you know? You followed all the characters, you were involved in all the characters. It was good.
That movie, yeah, man, I went to the theaters to see that and I was a kid and it was like 92 or 93 that it came out and I remember my experience there and I remember the buzz around it. They advertised that movie so well. Like, they built it up because when they first started marketing that movie, they just showed like T-Rex footprints, like on, like emblems, and it would say like Jurassic Park, and you knew the movie was about dinosaurs, but they didn't let the cat out of the bag as far as like how good they looked yet. And they just like built up. And when you finally went to the theater to go see it, this is the one thought that was going through my head as I saw them on screen. When Grant walks up on the field and he takes his shades off and like he holds his hat and he sees the Brontosaurus and like rise up.
That first field of Brontosaurus is right there and you're like, holy shit.
Yep. Epic movie moment. And I remember thinking in my head, I'm looking at a dinosaur. Like it wasn't a movie to me. Like I was privileged to see what a dinosaur actually looks like based on movie technology. I was like in awe. Like, my goodness. One of my favorite movies of all time. Timeless. Throw that in a vault.
Definitely.
That has to be preserved. I mean, Jurassic Park is just timeless. We just saw that recently in the theater.
Yep, and it's a movie that you go back and you go see when it goes back into the theaters because it's that good, you know?
And I would pay to see it again. Like,
me too.
Amazing movie. That's a hell of a pick. On my list. I got, let me see, cause I got a pretty long list too.
Me too. I'm just grabbing, I think, my best ones first, and then I'll leave the stragglers for the last.
I got some that are my personal favorites, and then I got some that just have to be on this list. Like, you know, I'm gonna say, since we're talking about a piece of like American film history, I'm gonna say you can't talk about movies that, had an impact And you have to see and not mention like Rocky 1 and 2.
Very true.
Because Rocky 1 and 2 are kind of like, they're, it's almost like one movie. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to say Rocky then, Rocky 1. A very inspirational movie.
And you've told me too many times, you can tell the podcast audience as what, Sylvester Stallone had to go through to get the movie made. Oh,
what he had to go through. Yeah, the little backstory with Stallone is that Stallone was a struggling writer, struggling actor, and he was on Skid Row. He was like homeless, starving, and he wrote Rocky. He wrote Rocky for himself. He wanted to star in the role. So being poor and hungry and all this stuff and struggling, he got offers for his script and he just wouldn't let it go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of fortitude do you have to have and belief in yourself and your script and the role that you don't let it go for $50,000 when you're starving? And he knew that he was like, I'm not going to
much respect for that.
Yes, much respect. He just knew in his heart that it was going to be a big thing and he was meant for it. And he held out until he got the deal where he was going to star in it. And then there you have history. There goes Rocky. And there's nobody that could have played that role but him, you know?
No, and it, like you said, honestly, it made a huge cinema movie impact.
Yeah. Who doesn't know the Rocky pose at the steps?
Yes.
Who doesn't know that music?
Like, and who doesn't know Adrian? Adrian, we did it.
Yeah. Who doesn't know that? You know, all across the globe. Yeah. You know, you play that music and you show that symbol like on a T-shirt, like of him with the fist up. That's Rocky.
It's true.
Probably more known than the Jordan symbol.
Probably.
Possibly. Don't hold me to that. But, what else you got, Brian?
No, that was a good pick. So I have, I know I wasn't going to say more than one Spielberg movie, but I'm going to say Spielberg/Lucas movie on this one. Mm. And, you know where I'm probably going to go. Indiana Jones.
That is an incredible pick. I'm ashamed of myself that it wasn't on my list.
But all-time great adventure movie for all ages.
Yep. And
it keeps your attention from start to finish, and just an amazing job from Harrison Ford, played Indy, and just, you know, it's a great adventure film, and it's one of those ones that you can just constantly keep watching, and it will always satisfy you every time.
Indiana Jones 1 through 3, kudos, 5 stars. Part 4, kill it with fire.
Yes, exactly. I completely agree.
Part 4.
What's your favorite though? What's your favorite out of the first 3?
My favorite out of the 3, God, there's so many moments out of all 3, but I'm gonna have to say the chemistry between Sean Connery and Harrison Ford in 3, The Last Crusade. There was something like that extra element of father and son that like just made it more touching. Junior. That was a really good movie, man. And the whole religious aspect of it, you know, the cup of like the covenant, is that what it was?
Yeah.
And, it was, great message. Like, even if you're not religious, like the message of like faith, like there was like a scene where like, he was on the edge of like this like canyon and like you have to take the leap and like it looked like he was going to fall and he just closed his eyes and stepped forward and it was an optical illusion and there was actually like a rock kind of like bridge, you know, if that's what you want to call it. And, great movie, man. Just great movie.
I would have to say mine would be the Temple of Doom.
with the Indian dude that takes your heart out?
Yeah. I don't know. Just that movie sticks with me. And the little Asian kid, that was like his little sidekick.
Yeah. What was his name? Short Stack?
Yep. And he gets stuck in the room full of like snakes and like the big thing full of spikes is coming down.
Yeah.
And she's all yelling at him, Indy, you know?
Dude, the chemistry between Harrison Ford and the little kid. He's like, no, you said you were going to give me, you got to pay me. You pay me now. You said. Dude, that was like great chemistry between them.
And that's the one with the famous scene, right? With the boulder rolling down in that movie?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Harrison Ford, man. A lot of people will say that, Han Solo, his performance in Star Wars, like made his career. And you can argue and say Blade Runner when he was like the android bounty hunter. Yeah, that movie broke ground by Ridley Scott, but like Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones.
Right.
Like that's his definitive role.
Right.
And, you know, a little movie trivia, but, Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy is apparently taking over the Indiana franchise. And, I
heard they're rebooting it.
It's bittersweet, man. It's bittersweet.
So, are they making him a younger? I think it'd be cool if they reboot it and do him as a prequel, like a younger Indiana Jones.
Yeah. I don't know how to take it, man. I got a soft spot for Indiana Jones. Like, to me, the Indiana Jones movies and the Back to the Future movies, it's like a piece of my childhood. So, like, when you see them, like, I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest. I'd rather have them not made.
Well, that'd be a good episode. We'll talk about that, sequels and prequels that we really liked and really didn't like. That's a good topic. So that's up to you. You're the next one. Okay. What else you got?
Let's see, let me look at my list here. I'm gonna say, and I think you're gonna agree, this one has to be mentioned, and it's also should be locked in a vault. I'm gonna say The Matrix.
Yep, that was definitely on my list. Groundbreaking overall from that standpoint, and I can remember going to the movie theaters for that one and like walking out like with my jaw dropped and wanting to know more about The Matrix and like wanting more, you know, the other Matrix movies didn't do what you needed it to do, but you did want more within the world. You wanted to know what was going on. You wanted to know what was happening beforehand. You actually thought about, we could actually be in the Matrix right now. It actually made you like second guess.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I came out, that movie gave me paranoia. I came out, I was like, am I a giant battery right now? Am I in the Matrix or is this, yeah?
But it did that to you. You know, like movies that when you get done with it or when you walk out of the theaters and you don't think about it anymore, those are movies that are not worth it. And The Matrix is one of those movies that makes you still think about it.
Right.
You know?
Funny story, little side note. My girlfriend actually hates movies like that. She likes her endings wrapped up in a neat little box with a bow tie. She likes it spelled out, dude. Like, and I'm with you. I like movies that leave it ambiguous so you have to guess the ending.
Right.
That's me. She's sitting next to me right now. She's like, pisses me off. What was the last movie that you hated that had that ending? Oh, Drive, The Gray, because she didn't know if she.
Oh, I hated The Gray. I hated the end of The Gray.
Ryan's with you. He just said I hated The Gray. I hate you guys for that. The Gray was awesome. She says she wanted to punch someone in the face.
Yeah.
Okay, then. All right, moving on.
All right, so I think we would be remiss to not bring up the Star Wars movies.
Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, in general. All the movies, it's pretty impossible to say that, pop culture could go without mentioning that movie. It made a huge statement as far as they would go.
Vault movies, again.
Yep. George Lucas, that's like George Lucas's baby, and he successfully did it, and he successfully is still doing it by having new movies come out, new comic books come out, new cartoons come out, new stuff, you know. So he's pretty.
Lucas struck that gold mine with that whole series, dude. He made it as a young man, and he rode them coattails to his golden years.
Yes, he did.
You know what I mean? He didn't have to do anything for the rest of his life.
But it also did, you gotta pay homage to Star Wars and how it, really paved the road to all sci-fi films after that.
Yeah.
You know, they set a bar and then let everybody else follow them.
Yeah. It paved the way for G.I. Joe to have those cool lasers in the cartoon.
Right.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to touch on Star Wars or?
Nope, that's about it.
Alright. I am going to pick, maybe not as deep and as important as the other movies, but I'm gonna say Good Will Hunting.
That's on my list too. It is.
With Matt Damon and, wasn't Robin Williams. Robin Williams.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Robin Williams.
Ben Affleck was in there too.
Ben Affleck was in that. I'm not quite sure, and it will make it even more amazing. Did Ben Affleck and Matt Damon write that?
Yes.
You know,
that was their baby.
You can hate on them all you want. Those guys are talented.
Yep.
You know, like genius story and script, man. Good Will Hunting. What a touching movie. Definitely see it before you leave this earth. Like, what a good movie. And the story just, it got me. It really did.
It's definitely a feel good movie. And, you know, I think they had the same kind of story as, Sylvester Stallone did. This was their baby. This was their project. And they pushed and pushed and pushed, and Robin Williams got on with them. And then look at their careers at this point, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Look at how their careers skyrocketed from this movie.
Right. I think, little movie trivia, I think Stallone called them and said, don't sell it.
Yep.
No, he really didn't do that. I'm just making that up.
Don't give us false movie trivia on here.
He's like, don't do that, you know, cause, I saved it and, I got the Rocky roll.
I got the
Rocky roll. Yeah, man, Good Will Hunting. Great movie. Rent it. Redbox it. Whatever you gotta do. Netflix. Great.
If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it.
Kudos to, Matt Damon's role too, his performance. He did really good.
He did.
Really good angry guy.
Yeah. And super smart guy.
Super smart.
So I would have to be remiss to bring up, and I think there's a couple that I could choose from, but I kept it just to one, would have to be a Quentin Tarantino film. And the Quentin Tarantino film that I would pick as one of the movies that you definitely have to see before you die, and one of those ones that could possibly get locked up in a vault and has to be on there, would definitely have to be Pulp Fiction.
Pulp wasn't on my list. I really didn't think of it. I think it's an amazing movie. I don't know if it's worthy of, but that's funny I say that because I got other movies that are like not on par with the ones we mentioned. But
Yeah.
Okay, I want to hear about Pulp Fiction, Brian.
So, I think that the storytelling in general of how it's all mixed up and how it's all separated and stuff is pretty cool how he did it. You know, he mixed up the whole storylines. It's hard to follow. You have all these different characters and all these different situations being pulled together. And you have, I don't even know, like 8 different storylines going through all at once. And those storylines are all eventually come to a fruition at the end where they all meld together. And I don't know. I think it's impressive, you know, how he,
Butch.
Yeah. I think it's impressive how he pulled it all together. He started it out. It's all random. But then he pulled it all together at the end.
Pulp Fiction, dude. Man, first let me I know this is like a episode on like movies, but it's not on directors, but I'm gonna say for the Quentin Tarantino haters, the guy is a genius. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what people say. Like, tell me a Quentin Tarantino movie that's not entertaining. Even if they're like out there and hokey from dusk till dawn, they're still entertaining.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he has a way of a dialogue. He's a genius. I'm not even going to go on a Tarantino rant, but, Pulp Fiction, great movie, groundbreaking in the style, how you described, how it's like segmented, and it's not in order. It's like all pieced together, and somehow he makes it work.
Yeah. That's what impressed me the most.
Great pick. It wasn't on my list. Truth be told, I initially didn't think of it as like something to see before you die, but, it's up there. All right. I got a pick. This one is kind of based on the effects. It's kind of like along the lines of like Matrix. Matrix was kind of a great movie, but, The Abyss. I think The Abyss deserves a nod. I think it was a great story. I really like Ed Harris a lot. I think he's a great underrated actor. It broke ground as far as like effects. Like if you like the T-1000 and Terminator 2, T-1000 originated from the Abyss effects.
Yeah, that's where the effects started. That's where James Cameron kind of got his start with doing those kind of special effects.
Yep. So, that's another pick of mine, The Abyss.
So I got a couple more that we can go on the list, and I'll just list them. I don't think that I think I'm down to the ones that aren't as monumental as the ones that we've talked about before. They're kind of ones that I personally like for favorites. And I would say Forrest Gump is on my list.
Great pick.
That's a great movie, all around feel good movie, and it touches on, everything, watching his whole entire life, and Tom Hanks did a fantastic job with playing his character.
Definitely fantasy, but.
Yeah. I mean, he played a special character, like a special guy.
Yeah.
But he didn't come off as being too special,
Yeah.
I would also have to say The Green Mile.
Oh man, how could I not pick that movie? The Green Mile is...
That could almost make you cry every time you watch that movie,
Yeah, what a movie. I think Stephen King wrote that.
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
That's definitely right on the top of my list.
Rest in peace, Michael Clark Duncan.
Yep. And then I also have, like I'd said, I don't want to touch on Spielberg movies, but Jaws is obviously one of my all-time favorites. That's definitely an honorable mention in my eyes. You should definitely see it. Check it out. It's not ranked up as high. If I were going to pick a Spielberg movie for you to see before you die, it'd have to be Jurassic Park, but I like Jaws too. I'd definitely put Jaws on there.
Jaws is a good pick. Based on the animatronics.
Exactly. And then my last one would have to be, T2, Terminator, Judgment Day.
I am ashamed of myself. I don't have Terminator 2. Me being a giant Arnold fan and Terminator fan, man, I'm gonna go hang myself. I don't have Terminator 2 on here. I'm so ashamed of myself. But you know what? I can technically say Terminator 1.
Okay. That makes you feel better.
It does, cause technically you said T2. So I'm gonna say T1.
Yep. Okay.
But, those are your picks, dude?
Yeah, what else you got?
Alright. So I mentioned The Abyss. I'm gonna say for a good, tearjerker, I'm gonna say Antoine Fisher. Antoine Fisher.
That's a good one.
Great movie to me. Great performance by Denzel. That one kid, I don't know his name. He's been in like a few movies, but he did a really good job in that.
He did.
The main actor besides Denzel.
The little kid.
Yeah, Men of Honor with, Cuba Gooding and, Robert Downey Jr. Oh goodness.
Ooh, not Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro, my favorite actor of all time. Robert Downey's the man too, though.
If you want to see a movie with that shows you heart and shows you courage, that's the epitome of that movie.
Yes. Men of Honor, it gets me too, man. What a great movie. Heat with, okay, this is why you have to watch Heat. Because arguably the two greatest actors of all time are in the same movie. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino.
Right.
I mean, Heat, rent it, go, now. Val Kilmer's in it too. Great crime movie.
Yeah, it is.
Scarface, Al Pacino.
I didn't have Scarface on there. I'm bad.
You want to talk about a performance, the performance of performances, like Tony Montana. Man, Pacino owned that role.
He did.
What a great,
Tony Montana.
Yeah. I say great movie, but it's not great like Family.
Yeah. Not an all-around family movie.
It's a brutal.
But it is a great movie.
Brutal, violent drug movie. And drug selling and trafficking and stuff in that whole world. But yeah, Scarface, you gotta see it. Let's see. One of my personal favorites, The Prestige with, Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale.
Yep. That's a good one.
Fantastic movie. Drive with Ryan Gosling. It made an impact in me. I love that movie. I don't know if
that would be one of the movies that you have to see before you die. I don't know.
I'm a 80s baby. I'm going to say that the movie was an experience. It was, okay. I really enjoyed Drive. And
I like Drive too. I'm not hating on it, but if you are okay with awkward stares, then that's your movie.
Man, we talked about this. I think his name is Nicholas Winding Refn. That may be the director of Drive. I'm not sure. I may be confusing him, but, you call it awkward stares and pauses. I call it capturing scenes that don't require words. You know, when you attracted to someone and you just have that smirk and it's like that aura in the air, you're giddy for each other, and the movie perfectly captured that. And also when he stomped people's heads in the elevators, the violence. And my last pick is going to be, it's like semi kind of a newer movie, and I'm not going to touch on it too much because I think we're running out of time. I'm going to say Life of Pi. And
I didn't get to see that one. Everybody said it was a great movie. I didn't get to see it.
It's a great movie. I'm going to try not to spoil it. I'm just going to say a couple of words on it. It was a movie about, I want to say it was about like faith, and you could take that in a religious sense or not. It's really up to you when you watch it. I would definitely say watch that movie with no expectations. Just immerse yourself in it. Listen to everything that's said. It has a powerful, powerful message, especially the very end. Life of Pi.
Okay.
And those are my picks.
So that about sums it up for as far as movies.
I got one more.
Okay.
Evil Dead.
You said that was your last pick.
Evil Dead 2.
You think that's one of those have to see before you die movies?
For me. Anyway.
Okay.
All right.
So that wraps up our movies that you have to see before you die. So there's your list. Go out to Redbox. Go digital download them from Vudu or Amazon or wherever you go to. And we'll be coming back for our next episode next week. And hopefully we'll have Paulie back. If we don't have Paul, maybe Gil, maybe all four of us will be on here. Or any other guests that we can come up with. And if you'd like to hit us up on email, Newbreed Films Reviews at 2014@gmail.com. We are also on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube.
I'm going to get us a celebrity on here.
You should.
I'm going to get us the guy who said, send more cops and Return of the Living Dead 2. I bet you I could get that guy. The zombie.
I bet you he's not doing anything right now, so we can get him.
We'll get him on here. Get a bigger audience. All right, man. Catch you next episode.